Good morning everyone. So here we will continue the topic of contact forces. Once we just recall the definition of contact force. So the word contact, as I have explained earlier, it is the force which is developed when two objects come in contact with each other or interact with each other or touch with each other. When two objects touch with each other, the force which is developed in between these two objects, that force is called as a contact force. So here today we will discuss two of the contact forces. Now before going to the name of that contact force, you all know that this season, especially this 2020, is very much rememberable because of the COVID-19. Most of them we are suffering because of this disease. And clearly it is told that you have to regularly wash your hands. And so hand wash has got greater importance. Now I have a hand wash in front of me. I want to use this hand wash. Now in order to get the liquid from this hand wash, what I have to do? I have to press this piston. So when I press this piston, what happens? The liquid will come out of this hand wash, this bottle. Now in order to press this piston, if I stand just near to it, is it happening? No. What I am doing there, I am touching this piston, applying the force on this piston. So you can see the liquid is coming out of this hand wash. Now the force here, the movement of this piston is understood that force is applied on this piston. Okay. Now how the force is applied? What is the source of this force? It is my hand, muscles of my hand. So this force where I am using body muscles to apply the force, such a force is called as a muscular force. So if you go to the definition, the force which we exert by using our body muscles, that force is called as a muscular force. We all know that the moment we get up to the moment we go to sleep, we do lot of activities, right from brushing our teeth, taking bath, taking bath, eating, coming to school, going, all these activities, we all know that force is applied. Without force, you can't do any activity. So, how is that force applied? Using our body muscles. So, such a force where our body muscles is applied to apply the force, such force is called as a muscular force. I'll take another example. Now, for example, I want to lift this book. So, the position of this book is changed. So, it is understood that force is applied on this book. How is the force applied? By using my muscles of my hand. So, this force where I am using my muscles to apply the force on this book, this force is called as muscular force. Now, the question is, why this muscular force is a contact force? Because what did we discuss? Contact force means two objects should touch each other, and between these two objects the force is developed. Now here I will take the same example of hand wash. Here you can see, now without touching this piston, can I get the liquid out of this bottle? No, it is not possible. So what I am doing here, I am touching this piston with my finger or with my hand and pressing, applying force on this piston. So now you can see, as I am touching, so this force, muscular force, is one of the contact force. Okay. Now just see another example. Now here, this is a duster on my table. What I am doing, I am just pushing the duster. What can we see here when I am pushing the duster? The duster has moved from one place to another place when I push the duster or when the force is applied, when muscular force is applied. Okay, it is very clear. The duster has moved because of the muscular force. So in the first class, we have discussed that any object to move or to stop, force is need to be applied. It is understood that the duster has moved because muscular force is applied. Now my question is, why the duster has stopped? Which force has stopped the duster? See, if you can see, I did not stop the duster. I did not put my hand and stop the duster. I just applied my muscular force to move the duster. Now, which force has stopped the duster? Listen carefully. Whenever an object, here my object is duster. Whenever an object touches the surface, what happens? A force is developed between the duster and the table or any surface. That force which is developed, which is stopping the object, such force is called as a frictional force. Now, when I move the duster, because of my muscular force, the duster has moved to certain distance. But after few seconds, my muscular force has decreased and the force between the duster and the surface has increased. What is that force? Frictional force. So, as the muscular force is decreased, frictional force has increased. That the frictional force has stopped the object. That means duster. Okay. So, any object which need to be stopped is because of the frictional force. Once we see the definition. Friction is the resistance to the movement of a body over the surface of another body. Resistance is nothing but stopping force, which will stop the movement of the object. It can be any object. Now you are riding the bicycle and you have applied brakes. When the brakes are applied, the cycle will not stop. What is needed there? There should be force to stop the bicycle. Where is that force? That force is between the tiles and the road. Now for example, this is the tile and this is the road. So the cycle is on the road. So when you apply the brakes, the between this tiles, wheels and the road, between these two surfaces, the frictional force is developed, which is stopping the bicycle when you have applied the brakes. So here frictional force is the force which is developed when an object comes in contact with the surface and which is always a stopping force or which always stops the movement of the object. And the other thing is, this muscular force which made the duster to move, this is called as applied force. It can be taken as an applied force. So, always frictional force is opposite to the applied force. For example, if you see here, if you take this as a duster, the duster has moved in this direction. So, applied force is in this direction. Object always moves in the direction of the applied force. So, applied force is in this direction. Frictional force will be in the opposite direction. The frictional force has moved in this direction. So, we will continue taking few more examples about frictional force.